for the Miami Heat. Nikola Jokic, your MVP. He finishes with a game-high 28 points, 16 rebounds. Not a great shooting night, though, for either team. Denver, just 18% from three, while the Heat shot only 34% overall. We've got NBA champion Eddie House rolling with us again this morning. And, Eddie, we need some context here. You think Denver won it, or did Miami lose it?
Well, I think Denver won it. Denver went and took it. You got to give all the credit to Denver for everything that they've done, how they play together, how they, defensively. I thought they did a great job after game two. Coach Mike Malone called those guys out, and they responded. The energy that they started that game with last night, it was kind of frenetic. It was speed type of game, and it was on both ends. They did it on both ends of the floor. And you got to give credit to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., that whole team, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, everybody out there, salute to them because they went out there and took it. It was not an easy battle last night, almost some 90s basketball going on as far as the scoring, but it was a great game, and congratulations to the new champs, the Denver Nuggets.
Go ahead. I see you chomping at the bit to get at Eddie. Go ahead.
Eddie House, I've been doing this a long time. I told Shannon, I have a hangover from watching this game, and I don't drink. This was the single ugliest finals basketball game I have ever had to swallow, and I had to swallow it whole because it was 48 excruciating minutes. Denver tried and tried and tried again to say, here, take it back home. We'll go back down there and we'll kick your ass down in Miami like we do every time, where they've lost 4 in a row. Mm-hmm. I think they wanted a trip to South Beach. I think they wanted to go celebrate on South Beach. I don't know.
They might have been going there without Jokic because he wanted to get to Serbia.
I got it. But, Eddie, I'm looking at these numbers. Joker last night, he was very good, but he had only 4 assists with 4 turnovers. Jamal he hit a couple of big shots, but he was 6 of 15 with 6 turnovers. Aaron Gordon went from 27 points the previous game to 1 of 6 and 0 for 2. Michael Porter Jr., 1 of 6 from 3. Bruce Brown, who did have the biggest bucket of the night on a putback late in the game that just tore the hearts out of the Miami Heat and their fans, he was 0 for 5 from 3. Denver, in a home closeout game, shot 5 of 28 from 3 and lived to tell about it. That is 18%. Denver, in a home closeout game, missed 10 free throws. 10! It's hard to fathom you could miss 10 at home and live to tell about it because playoff Jimmy went way off Jimmy, playoff Jimmy, then back to way off Jimmy. Jimmy Butler was 2 of 13 going into that last couple of minutes, and he just salvoed them. He almost willed it home. He scores 13 points in about 2.5 minutes late in the game. Mm-hmm. And then he misses his last 2 threes, and if we could see it, I don't know, maybe should I subject our loyal viewers to it? Then he goes Fred Brown in the 82 national championship game, Georgetown versus Carolina, who threw it just straight to James Worthy. And Jimmy gets it deep in the lane and gets stuck and just loses his balance and his mind and throws it right to KCP, and the game's basically ended. How can you defend? It's like here. Finally, Jimmy said he actually had the game in his hand. They're just down a point. He drives it deep into the lane. Maybe you can get to the foul line. And he says, no, I'm going to just basically hand the ball to KCP so he can go shoot the 2 free throws that basically ice the game. Eddie, I'm sorry, but Miami lost the game because, once again, my man Gabe Vincent, my man Strus, and my man Caleb Martin, how much did we love him against Boston? They combined to go 1 of 14 from 3. I have never seen so many shots from one team miss the entire rim. The Heat had to set the all-time finals records for shots missing rim. They hit the backboard sometimes. They almost broke the backboard with some of those threes, right? But didn't you find it unwatchable? Because I was just happy in the end. I was relieved that Denver put them out of their misery.
Eddie, before you go, Eddie, before you go, what did you tell me? Where did Miami finish as far as scoring in the NBA?
last.
Okay, the last 3 games, they failed to reach 100 points.
I know, but for the first 20 playoff games they played, and Eddie can attest because his Celtics got shot in the heart.
Yes.
They shot 39% from 3 for 20 straight games. That's a pretty big sample size.
But they're playing so far above their head.
Okay.
If they ever go back to Skip, think about it. The original play-in, they lost to the Hawks by double digits. They were 3 minutes away from. They were down like 6 or 7 to the Bulls. They were 3 minutes away from not even making the play.
We had a bet on it.
Yes.
I'm watching it. And I said, I'm going to lose this.
Yes.
They're down 3 with 3 minutes left.
Skip, you didn't have one guy from the Heat that shot 50% from the floor. Not one guy.
Well, yeah, you know why though? That's part
Defense.
of why we got to give Denver the credit.
Yes.
Their defense, that clip that you showed, Skip, right there, I said it. Miami likes to play off 2 feet, all of them. Get into the lane, they'll pump fake, they'll pivot, they try to relocate. And that particular clip personified exactly what you're supposed to do defensively, and that's everybody stayed home. Jimmy had nowhere to pass it, and right to Caldwell Pope because everybody was disciplined and locked in. The teams you talk about, the Atlanta Hawks, not a disciplined defensive team.
No.
The Chicago Bulls, not a disciplined defensive team. Milwaukee, they're a very good defensive team, but they just weren't the same, right? Miami was hot coming into that. And then when they played Boston, the thing with Boston was undisciplined. They weren't disciplined.
Yes.
So when you look at it, it's nothing that you could do except say, hey, man, the Denver Nuggets wore Miami Heat down because every second half they won. Look at this second half. They won by 12 points. And it looks like Miami shoots worse and worse as the game goes on.
Right.
And it seems like Denver hits their stride and gets better and better offensively and get better defensively. I mean, I'm a three-point shooter. I love the three. But this was a perfect game to show you that you don't have to make threes to win basketball games. You have to be disciplined on the defensive end, and you have to execute your game plan and make the extra pass. I think Denver had one play. I think it might have been Michael Porter Jr.'s only 3 in the corner.
Yeah.
That ball touched the paint, went to the corner, went to the wing, got swung to the opposite wing, and it hit Michael Porter for the 3. That personifies ball movement, staying disciplined to your game plan. And that's what I'm saying. I think that the Nuggets, they're well coached. If they could keep this team together, they're going to make some runs. They're going to make a lot of runs. You know, the only team that I would say that you might have to worry about is Golden State coming back next year with vengeance.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Eddie, young Gabe Vincent actually reminds me a little bit of Eddie House when you played because he's got that kind of little man swagger to him, you know, unheralded, I'm going to show you kind of swagger. But the stage got too big for him and Strus and Caleb in the end.
That's what we different, though. The stage ain't ever too big for me.
Not for you. And I agree. I was going to make that point. That's exactly what happened because I remember you in big playoff games making big shots and having grand celebrations that we shouldn't probably talk about. Yeah. So the point is that I'm looking at these numbers from Vincent and Strus in the last 3 games. They combined to shoot 12 of 52 from the floor. That's 23%. That's horrendously bad. They're in your starting lineup.
Yes.
From 3 over the last 3 games. They shot 3 of 27. That's 11%. It's just not good enough. It was miraculous that they were up a point with 1:58 left in the game last night with a golden opportunity to take it back home.
Right.
Could they summons it up, as you say, and figure out how to win a home game and get it back to Game 7? I guess I wouldn't have been shocked by it because they've been doing that the whole playoffs.
Eddie, but what I was trying to explain to Skip, if you take away that 13-point salvo that Jimmy Butler had over the last 2 minutes, they had 5 points with 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They had 5. It took Jimmy Butler going Reggie Miller against the Knicks or T-Mac when he went off what he did, 11 points in like 18 seconds, in order for them to get to 18 points in a quarter of an NBA Finals game. I think we don't look at the Denver Nuggets as one of these great defensive teams, but they did a great job of running them off the 3, and they missed the 3s that they had were open, but they contested a lot of shots. They made them, the ball always ended up into the guy's hands that they wanted taking that shot. Jimmy Butler, a lot of times, now he hit 2 big threes, but that's not his shot. No. They did a great job of closing out the Duncan Robinson, Eddie, but not leaving their feet, letting him reset and letting the three grow. They closed out to him, stayed on their feet. Now he has to dribble the ball, give the ball up because he's really not a creator for himself. I want to give the Nuggets a lot more credit than blaming the Heat for losing, because the Heat reverted back to who they were all year long. They've been a team 25th in offensive efficiency. They were 20 dead last in scoring. And guess what happened again? Right on cue. They got crushed on the glass again.
They did. They got crushed. Okay, I'm not making an excuse for them, but in game one of these playoffs at Milwaukee, they lost Tyler Hero. All he did was average 20 points a game during the regular season. And once upon a time, he won Sixth Man of the Year. He can light it up as he yells, "I'm a bucket," right? So he was supposed to be back. He dressed last night, but he's got a pin in his shooting hand because he had surgery on it about 6 weeks ago. And I'm sure it's still sore. But I was hoping Spo would at least push that button one time, because somebody's got to find a hot end. Maybe he could have made a shot or two.
See, I saved Eddie from himself. You talk about Tyler Hero, you can have Tyler Hero, Guitar Hero, Hogan's Hero. I told you Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5? Well, I told you Miami sucks because they just suck. I've never seen such sucking over the last 3 games.
Look, Skip, but you got me 3 times. You got me against the Knicks, you got me against Milwaukee, you got me against the Celtics.
Yeah, I got you against the Celtics in Game 7 in Eddie's house.
I really think, though, looking at the games, though, as the series progressed, Miami got more and more tired. You know, the one thing I can say about Miami, most of the time they're the most disciplined team on both ends of the floor. They were real loose yesterday.
They were loose.
At this series. They were real loose in this series as far as their offensive spacing. Even on top of their spacing, let's just talk about defense, because that's really where they hang their hat. They missed a lot of assignments. They were a step slow on everything, the closeouts. And conversely, when you look at what Denver was doing, to speak to your point, Shannon, they were super disciplined. They stayed down on Duncan Robinson, didn't go for any pump fakes. They stayed down on Jimmy Butler when he got in the lane. Guys stayed with their man on the perimeter so they couldn't relocate and get lost. I just thought Denver, this was a clinic of disciplined basketball.